Well, welcome back to Factorio Hyperbase, building the starter base. This is quite likely the last episode of building the starter base, because if you have a look at the text, there is nothing here that we actually need anymore for the hyperbase. Even the atomic bomb we don't absolutely need. We could, it's just we can't actually start infinite research at this point, because we don't have any silos, obviously. So the point of the starter base at this point is just, well, the point of the tech at least is to finish it, really, get it out of the way, and that's about it. But there is a couple more things that we need, or want at least, out of our starter base, and that is, well, number one of those is bots. We need a supply of bots. So with that in mind, I will create a little bit of space. This is not really necessary, but having some space here certainly helps. Okay, that's got quite a long way to go, unfortunately. We might have to help this on its way. I think I'll actually move where it's distributing this from as well. Somewhere like there. Oops. Yeah, that's better. And whoops, we can then get rid of that part, and that part, and that part. Correct this up. There we go. We may have to rip this whole thing just out, because it doesn't look like it's going to expand the contents of this very quickly, which is slightly annoying. But never mind. So what else have we been doing? Well, we have increased the output of these. I've made them all red. I've set up a little thing here where there's an extra row just feeding the rows that were struggling the most. This one only gets fed if these can manage without it, which has never actually been the case, so that was kind of pointless. Although it is coming through thick and fast here, and we've done something similar here, although I actually have set up sort of priorities on here so that it draws in the first instance from these ones, rather than sort of coming in over the top like it does here. But maybe when we have a little bit more room, when some of this has burnt out, it will be a bit easier, because this actually is getting priority, so that bit will definitely burn out. We could then probably redirect this. Well, I mean, we probably could do that right now, but we could redirect that and give these priority next, so that they get exhausted, and so on and so forth. So that's what we did at iron. I've put radars here, and copper now is fed from both sides. It still doesn't have a train stop here. I do have a train stop and a train on this one, supplementing the iron, because the iron is down to 81k. That's not going to last long. The coal, of course, has completely gone. The stone here is 21k. The copper is only 600k, so that is also not going to last very long. But that kind of brings you up to date. We've been doing a few of the military techs, getting them out of the way. This one, it's remotely possible it's useful. We will do it, but maybe not immediately. So, bot time. What do we need for bots? Well, we are going to need batteries. We are going to need electric engines. So let's bring them down. Batteries probably needs to become one of these. Perhaps, not sure. We are going to do about... oh, these are actually half the speed of these. That is interesting. So we could actually accommodate 20 flying robot frames. Not that we really need it, but we can accommodate 20 flying robot frames. Well, at least we would be able to if there was any density of green circuits getting past the blue, but as you can see, the input is fairly weak by the time it's gone past all of that. Although, to tell you the truth, I have kind of changed my mind in terms of whether I like this thing working the way that it does. Let's get another tech. Why don't we put that nuclear bomb on so we don't have to worry about research for a little while. It uses everything, yeah, okay, so that's really going to hurt. So we might as well get it out of the way. I think I'd rather green and red came in here, which means that I would rather that go all the way to there. This one goes to there. We actually go to because at least this way, theoretically, it can kind of, well, I don't actually know if that makes the slightest difference, to be perfectly honest. Ooh. Don't know if I need any of those down there, but never mind. Okay, so flying robot frames have 4 inputs. Steel and electric engines. You can really only support, well, you can support 4, but do you need to? And yeah, this thing is very much in the way. You can kind of go, say, 1, 2, 3, and then have these machines, and then have another row of inputs, and then have the output there. That's kind of what you can do, which would mean we can then just have 20 machines in a big long line. Do I want to copy how I do it with blue circuits? Perhaps, probably. We're going to have a lot of iron ore very shortly. That's 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Will it put power back there? Yes, it does. Good. Done. Okay. I ended up with 4 inputs, didn't I? Yeah. It's not really necessary to have 4 inputs, but whatevs. And to be perfectly honest, we don't actually need to be building robots at this rate. But it will help us get going. Flying robot frames. Okay. Steel. So this one should be steel. So steel and electric engines are the least required. There isn't actually any huge rhyme or reason to the decisions I'm making in terms of where each of these go, but I'm just thinking in terms of like the long inserters are slow, so they should take the least items, but you know, it doesn't really matter enough for all of that logic. That there is our steel, and this one can be the electric engines. Well, it could be if we had enough yellow belt. Do I need more of those? Probably not really. I think I will need more of those. So you could fairly easily do this build with just 2 belts of input. But we'll do it with 4. Because we can. Is there actually any reason to... No, I really don't think there is. Let's just do that. So there's the electric engines. Now, batteries. Maybe batteries will come down here and green circuits go there. No, green circuits needs to be this one. Batteries will have to be this one. Okay. There's batteries, and this one is green circuits. Which is going to be slightly problematic. But not really. Oh. Where's something that takes iron? There you go. Have some iron, goodness, guys. Good. Gave us a little bit of space back. So, what I want to do here is this sort of thing. Oops. Now batteries, get rid of them. You guys. Build that would be sped up with decent robots. My robots still aren't really that good, with only the one what am I trying to one fusion pack. Yeah, they're not particularly awesome. And this way I don't have to take out of the underground. Not that taking out of an underground actually causes any problems these days. I don't think it worked perfectly in the old days, in the sense that it was a little bit slow or something of that nature. That. And now all we need is some power. There you go. Now we are making robot frames, and so if this was construction robots, that needs the electronic circuits, so we can just continue electronic circuits up to that point. Feed construction robots. We're not going to need that to go that far. I won't take them here just yet because that's logistic bots. And they are going to need red circuits coming in about there. Something like that. just get our book to complete these lines to like the same length. There we go. You're on the way, car. Well, oh, awesome. And we are out of underground belts. Not that that's a worry. We're almost done. And of course, the first thing that we're going to want to... Actually, there's an odd number. Let's grab that. The first thing we're going to want to set up bots for, of course, is this mall or make everything. It's certainly not everything yet, but maybe mall's a safer term. The mall to have the logistic robot support would be very helpful. Yes, we are back to even numbers now. So that's the end of that, and that's the end of that. Now, how many of these bots do we require? Let's put them into passive providers. And I'm tempted to suggest that I was out of wire. Okay. I'm tempted to suggest that basically we may as well build 1,000 bots of each type and just have them sitting here. That's not actually in our network. That's just sitting here waiting for use. There you go. The network isn't even connected. We don't have any networks at the moment. But yeah, that would just build us the bots we need. Now, the only other sort of thing that would be useful at this point would be to extend our make everything, or at the very least set it up as a bit of a network. Let's grab 10 of those. So what I want is full coverage of this thing. There's some convenient spaces like there almost. Not quite as convenient as I'd like. Maybe we could put it out there. Give it power like so. I'm going to need one to give this area coverage as well. Okay. Now, is there anything important that is not covered by those? also, what sort of... Oh, I never... Oh, yes, I never set up a... It doesn't actually grab greens at the moment. I never finished off making the filter inserters. It needs to put them somewhere. Which is basically going to have to be... That's the one spot that it can't put them. Okay. If you go on one step further, you go there. You go on one step further as well. We can then have a passive provider there. We can do that, and we could have some wire. If we had any wire, we have the red wire, I could have used that. If filter insert is less than 50, that will be fine for that condition. So that is basically our guys. We need to fix up a few things as well, like this here is now going to be pointless. We may as well have, well, these aren't collected anywhere actually. Instead of going straight, it may as well be a buffer chest. Get me some bots. Let's grab, say, 200 bots. logistic bots, that is. I don't want to set up a network of this stuff all over my factory. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Might try and clear this unless I want some buffer chests. Not very many. So this thing here can be a buffer chest. It will request all of the stone furnaces, but it will only allow building well, actually I could have just used the network, couldn't I? Enabled condition is stone furnaces is less than 50. And then we don't need that. And the other one in particular that I wanted to do that sort of thing with is the assembly machine. Except I'm going to be a lot harsher than that. Red will have to do. Enabled condition, assembly machine 1 is less than 5. Buffer chest request 100, 200, whatever we find. And this one here should have been set up as assembly machine 3s a long time ago. Which means this one can also become a buffer chest. Less than 50, 100 maybe. 100, but the buffer chest can request 300, and we can get rid of that. and this thing can output to a passive provider on the basis of those being less than, say, 500. These things take their time, so this may not be the most effective production of those, but we'll probably upgrade it very soon. Now, what else? What else? Ah yes, the one that I really want is the stone. What we will do is this one here can be changed to a passive provider. We'll insert a buffer chest there. And we will wire it up. So if stone is less than 20, then we will call it in, but we will request stone in the amount of 4K. Just give me all the stone. And here they come, and they're going to take it off me first, which is fantastic. Auto trash stone of any quantity, thanks. This is now empty. This one has all of this. Oh, buffer chest cannot take 4,000. Right, let's rather that to. Doesn't matter. 3,000. You can go away. Anything else that needs a buffer chest? There's a lot of things that need passive providers. Basically everything that isn't currently a passive provider in here needs to be a passive provider, so I can get this stuff without having to find it anymore. Let's request 50 passive providers. I could do with faster bots, but I'm going to have to do some infinite research to get those. Oh, they're down there. That one probably needs to be a buffer chest. That will I just use wire. If yellow inserters is less than 50, take that off, and yellow request all the inserters. That can be that. And just a minute. And back. I think what we'll do is actually wrap this up. It might be getting vaguely, well, I mean, we're basically at the end of this, but we do have this one to do as well, although this one actually should be pretty simple. So what do I want to do here? I just want to say if these guys are less than probably just 100 now, we can build them, and this guy can request in as many as there are likely to be. And here I might go for, you can build them if there's less than 2,000. Not that I'm going to use them too much more. And you can request in 4,000 because they're stacking to 100. And here you can build them if there's less than 50, and you can request in, you know, whatever. So that's that one. This one, very quickly, passive providers here. There we go. Alright, next time I might even start the count again as a new series as the actual expanding into the Hyperbase, but we are ready for that phase now, so looking forward to it. See you later, guys. Bye bye for now.